When we talk about heroes and gods, Norse mythology stands as one of the most fascinating and powerful pillars of ancient culture. Within this web of epic stories and legends, we find Thor, the god of thunder, whose image is inseparably linked with his faithful hammer, Mjölnir. However, Thor is more than a muscular warrior with a formidable weapon. He is a symbol of protection, courage, and the eternal bond between the divine and the human. In this story, we will explore how Thor and his hammer became the protectors of humanity. To understand Thor's role as a protector, we must first explore his origins. In Norse mythology, Thor is the son of Odin, the king of the gods, and Jord, the personification of the earth. From birth, Thor was destined to be a powerful and feared being, with a crucial role in maintaining the balance between Asgard, the home of the gods, and Midgard, the world of mortals. His connection with storms and thunder granted him immense power, making him the god to whom mortals turned when they needed protection from the dangers of the world. Thor is known for his fiery temper and love of battle, but he is also revered for his sense of justice and willingness to fight for those who cannot defend themselves. From the snow-covered mountains of Scandinavia to the valleys of Viking civilization, Thor was the god who answered cries for help, the guardian who ensured that humans could live in peace. To speak of Thor, we must mention Mjölnir, his hammer. Forged by the dwarves Sindri and Brokr, Mjölnir is more than a weapon. It is imbued with divine power, capable of crushing mountains and destroying enemies with a single blow. Unlike other hammers, Mjölnir has perfect balance and is indestructible. But what makes it special is that it can only be lifted by those who are worthy of its power. The fact that only Thor can lift Mjölnir demonstrates that his power doesn't lie in his physical strength, but in his nobility, bravery, and oath to protect the innocent. One prominent aspect of Norse mythology is how Thor takes on the responsibility of protecting humanity. While other gods remained in their domains, concerned with their own affairs or political struggles within Asgard, Thor became the guardian who did not hesitate to face any threat looming over Midgard. The ancient Vikings believed that when the storm roared and lightning lit up the sky, it was Thor fighting against the forces of chaos and darkness, ensuring that the creatures lurking at the edges of the world could not invade their homes. Norse mythology is filled with stories where Thor battles giants, the primordial forces that symbolize anarchy and chaos. These colossal beings not only sought to destroy humans, but also desired to overthrow the gods and plunge the entire cosmos into darkness. Thor, with his hammer in hand, was the impenetrable barrier that stood between them and their goal. One of the most famous tales is that of Thor's confrontation with Hrungnir, a gigantic and fearsome being who dared to challenge the gods. In this story, Thor defeats Hrungnir in an epic battle, using Mjölnir to crush his skull and proving that no threat was too great for the god of thunder. The figure of Thor is an example of the duality that characterizes many gods in Norse mythology. On one hand, he is an implacable destroyer, capable of devastating armies and crushing mountains. On the other, he is a kind and generous protector who uses his power to safeguard the defenseless, making Thor a fascinating and complex hero. In times of war and conflict, humans invoked Thor to guide them in battle, knowing that his fury and his hammer were symbols of victory. In times of peace, they asked him to protect crops, homes, and families, keeping at bay the evil forces that could threaten everyday life. This made Thor a god close to humans, someone who shared their struggles and understood their fears. What defines the relationship between Thor and Mjölnir is the concept of worthiness. The hammer is not just a weapon that Thor wields at will. It is an object that responds to justice, courage, and the will to protect others. Many stories mention that if Thor were ever to cease being worthy, he would no longer be able to lift his hammer. This concept of worthiness also connects Thor with humans, symbolizing the idea that true strength comes from a brave and just heart. In this sense, Thor not only protects humans, he also teaches them, through his example, the importance of being worthy and brave, of facing chaos with determination, and of never giving up, no matter how insurmountable the challenges may seem. The story of Ragnarok, the apocalyptic battle of Norse mythology, would mark the end of times. In this final cataclysm, Thor battles Jörmungandr, the giant serpent representing the world's destruction. It is said that Thor manages to kill the beast, but at a high cost. He succumbs to its venom shortly after. This final sacrifice encapsulates Thor's role as a protector until his last breath. Even when he knows the end is inevitable, he doesn't hesitate to face danger to ensure that the world has a chance to be reborn. This supreme bravery is what makes Thor an eternal hero, a protector who doesn't waver even when facing his own death. Although the Viking era has long passed, Thor's figure remains alive and relevant in modern culture. From comic book and movie representations to literary adaptations, Thor and his hammer continue to inspire generations with their strength, courage, and sense of duty. In the contemporary context, his figure represents the fight against injustice, courage in the face of adversity, and the idea that despite challenges, there is always hope as long as someone is willing to protect the innocent. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Thor is portrayed as a hero who learns the importance of humility and responsibility, reflecting the very essence of his mythological version. Mjölnir, once again, becomes the symbol of worthiness and valor, reminding us that true strength lies not only in power, but in character. Thor, with his hammer in hand, remains the god who descends from the heavens to protect mortals from the dangers lurking in the shadows. He is a hero who, despite his imperfections, represents the best of what humans can aspire to be: strong, brave, and always willing to fight for what is just. And then thank you very much for staying until the end of this video. If you enjoyed the content, press the subscription button so you don't miss any stories. See you in the next video.